Okay, so this is seriously important. I'm not even being dramatic right now. As a brain doctor, I've seen a lot, but what I discovered about this one vitamin, it literally shocked me. We all try to be healthy, right? Vitamins, supplements, the whole wellness thing. But what if I told you that something you're taking, something that seems so good for you, could actually raise your stroke risk overnight? I know, it's scary. But you have to hear this. Many people take vitamins every day believing they're doing the right thing for their health. It's part of a modern wellness trend. Pop a supplement in the morning, maybe another at night, and trust that your body is soaking up all the benefits. But what if one of those so-called healthy choices is actually increasing your risk for something as serious as a stroke? As a brain doctor, I've seen patients who were shocked to learn that their daily supplement habits were doing more harm than good. One of the most concerning discoveries I've made in clinical research and patient observation is the hidden danger behind certain popular vitamins that are marketed as essential for daily wellness. Vitamins, especially those that support brain health and energy, are often misunderstood. People assume that if a little is good, more must be better. This mentality is especially common when it comes to B-complex vitamins, which are often promoted for boosting energy, improving mood, and enhancing cognitive performance. Among these, vitamin B6 stands out as a supplement many take regularly, either on its own or as part of a multivitamin. It's widely considered safe and beneficial, but in reality, excessive or unregulated intake of B6 has been quietly linked to serious health consequences, including an elevated risk of neurological damage and, yes, even strokes. The problem lies in the fact that the human body only needs a very small amount of certain vitamins. When you exceed that amount, especially over an extended period, your body can't always flush it out efficiently. Fat-soluble vitamins are known for building up in tissues, but even water-soluble vitamins like B6 can accumulate in nerve tissue and affect brain chemistry when taken in large doses. This accumulation can result in neurotoxicity, causing symptoms like numbness, imbalance, and in more severe cases, a significant increase in stroke risk. These effects are especially dangerous because they can develop subtly, without obvious warning signs until it's too late. Even more alarming is how readily available high-dose vitamin supplements are. You can walk into any pharmacy, supermarket, or browse online and find products that deliver many times the recommended daily intake of B6, often without any real oversight. The labels are glossy, the branding is attractive, and the messaging suggests you'll be energized and sharper if you take them daily. People don't question it because it's just a vitamin, not realizing the serious neurological implications involved. In some clinical cases, I've treated patients who thought they were improving their health only to discover that their supplement regimen had contributed to dangerously elevated homocysteine levels, an independent risk factor for strokes. This isn't about fear-mongering, it's about awareness. The supplement industry is massive and largely unregulated compared to pharmaceuticals. Many companies push high-dose vitamins without providing any real education about dosage thresholds or potential risks. Doctors aren't always consulted before people start these regimens, and the result is a silent epidemic of overdosing on substances that were never meant to be consumed in such large quantities. The neurological effects can be long, lasting, and for those already at risk due to family history, hypertension, or other cardiovascular issues, the impact of a seemingly harmless vitamin can be devastating. Being proactive about your health is admirable, but being informed is essential. You need to know what you're putting into your body and why. The brain is delicate and complex, and anything that affects its vascular health should be treated with serious consideration. It's time we stop thinking of all vitamins as universally good and start recognizing that in the world of supplements, more isn't always better. Vitamin B6 is often praised for its role in supporting brain health, boosting energy, and aiding metabolism. Many people take it daily without a second thought, assuming that because it's essential for the body, more of it can only be a good thing. But recent clinical insights and neurological research have started to reveal something deeply concerning: a potential link between excessive vitamin B6 intake and an increased risk of stroke. This isn't just theoretical, it's a pattern that's emerging in medical data, and as a brain doctor, I find it alarming how little awareness there is about it. Vitamin B6, also known as pyridoxine, plays an important role in neurotransmitter function and the production of serotonin and dopamine, which affect mood and brain performance. But the problem arises when people consume more than the recommended daily allowance, often through supplements that contain much higher doses than what the body actually needs. The standard dietary requirement for most adults is only about 3 to 2 mg per day, but many over-the-counter B6 supplements contain 25 mg, 50 mg, or even up to 100 mg per dose. Taking such high levels consistently can lead to toxic buildup in the body, particularly affecting the nervous system and the delicate blood vessels in the brain. Multiple studies have pointed out that high levels of vitamin B6 can interfere with the balance of homocysteine in the blood. Homocysteine is an amino acid that, when elevated, becomes a known risk factor for cardiovascular disease and stroke. Normally, B6 works with other B vitamins to keep homocysteine levels in check, but paradoxically, in excessive doses, B6 can disrupt the regulation process, leading to higher concentrations of homocysteine and therefore increased risk of vascular damage. The blood vessels in the brain are particularly sensitive to changes in blood chemistry, and elevated homocysteine can lead to inflammation, arterial stiffness, and eventually stroke. Another troubling effect of too much B6 is its impact on nerve health. Long-term overuse has been associated with sensory neuropathy, damage to the peripheral nerves that causes numbness, tingling, and pain in the hands and feet. This nerve damage may not be immediately noticeable, but over time, it can affect coordination, balance, and brain function. It also adds an additional burden to the nervous system, which is already vulnerable in individuals at risk for stroke due to high blood pressure, diabetes, or aging. This chain of events, nerve irritation, vascular instability, and biochemical imbalance, sets the stage for serious neurological consequences. It's important to note that this risk is not purely theoretical. Several clinical case studies have shown a pattern of patients reporting neurological symptoms and stroke-like episodes that were eventually traced back to prolonged high-dose B6 supplementation. In most cases, patients believed they were following a healthy regimen, unaware that they were exposing themselves to a silent but growing threat. Unlike prescription medications, which come with detailed warnings and dosage instructions, supplements like vitamin B6 are often taken casually, with little guidance or monitoring. This gap in understanding creates a perfect storm for long-term harm. People often ask how something so common and widely available can be dangerous. The answer lies in the difference between what the body needs and what the market offers. The supplement industry promotes high-dose products for mental clarity, energy, and stress relief without acknowledging the risks that come with chronic overuse. When brain doctors and neurologists start seeing patterns of damage tied to one vitamin, it becomes clear that the narrative around safe supplements needs to change. One of the most overlooked and urgent concerns when it comes to brain health is how certain nutrients can have a sudden and dramatic impact on cerebral blood flow. Among these, the influence of vitamin B6 has drawn increasing attention. Many assume that changes in vascular health take time to manifest, gradually building up over years. However, what's now becoming evident is that under certain conditions, elevated doses of vitamin B6 can affect the blood vessels in the brain in a matter of hours. This overnight shift is particularly dangerous because it can happen without obvious symptoms and can quietly push someone into a high risk zone for stroke without them even realizing it. The human brain is extremely sensitive to changes in blood supply. Even minor interruptions or fluctuations can lead to noticeable neurological symptoms, such as dizziness, vision changes, numbness, or even temporary confusion. Blood flow to the brain must remain consistent, with vessels staying clear and flexible to allow oxygen and nutrients to reach every region. When that system is disrupted, whether by a clot, hemorrhage, or inflammation of blood vessels, the consequences can be catastrophic. Stroke is essentially the result of this kind of breakdown, where blood can no longer reach part of the brain, leading to rapid cell death. Vitamin B6, while essential in small amounts, has been implicated in disrupting the balance of key biochemical processes that regulate vascular tone and integrity. In cases of oversupplementation, B6 can interfere with the methylation cycle, which is critical for maintaining healthy levels of homocysteine. Elevated homocysteine levels can weaken and inflame the lining of the arteries, particularly those leading to and within the brain. This inflammatory response can occur quickly. Research suggests that even a single high dose can initiate changes in blood chemistry that negatively impact endothelial function, the inner lining of blood vessels, almost immediately. Once the endothelium becomes irritated, it sets off a chain reaction. The vessels may become less flexible and more prone to spasm, narrowing the pathway for blood to pass through. In some individuals, particularly those already dealing with high blood pressure, poor circulation, or genetic predispositions, this narrowing can severely reduce oxygen delivery to the brain. When this happens at night, during the body's rest and repair phase, the individual might wake up with a headache, feel unusually dizzy, or even notice sudden weakness or numbness in their limbs. In worst-case scenarios, this could be the onset of a transient ischemic attack (TIA) or mini-stroke, which often precedes a full-blown stroke. The risk is especially high for individuals taking multiple supplements or energy-boosting products that stack B vitamins, often without clear dosage labeling. Because the effects on blood vessels can be cumulative and intensified by sleep-related blood pressure dips or dehydration, the overnight period becomes a particularly vulnerable time. The body slows down during sleep, but the biochemical activity influenced by excess B6 does not, allowing damage to quietly occur when the brain is least equipped to respond. In morning, symptoms might be mild, numbness in fingers, balance issues, or a slight speech delay, but these can be early warning signs of something much more serious. This sudden impact on cerebral circulation is not widely recognized because it falls into a gray zone, not quite an allergic reaction. Not a long-term chronic disease, but a rapid biochemical shift that catches both patients and doctors off guard. Most people wouldn't connect a nightly supplement with morning neurological symptoms unless they were specifically looking for it. This is why awareness is crucial. Even those who believe they're doing everything right, eating well, exercising, and supplementing regularly, can unknowingly create conditions in their body that allow a stroke to happen virtually overnight, simply due to a misunderstanding of how certain nutrients interact with brain circulation. The idea that more is better is deeply rooted in how people view health and wellness. It's a belief that drives many to take larger doses of vitamins and supplements under the assumption that boosting intake will enhance results. Faster healing, more energy, stronger immunity, better brain function. But when it comes to supplements, especially vitamins like B6, this mindset can be not only misguided but also dangerous. The body operates on balance, and exceeding certain nutritional thresholds doesn't always bring added benefits. In fact, it can disrupt biological systems and increase the risk of serious health issues, including neurological problems and stroke. Vitamin B6 is a prime example of how the more is better mentality can backfire. This vitamin is essential in small amounts for processes like amino acid metabolism, neurotransmitter production, and red blood cell formation. Recommended daily intake for adults is relatively low, typically under 2 mg, yet many over-the-counter supplements deliver 10, 25, or even 100 mg per dose, far beyond what the body needs. People take these doses daily, assuming the excess will simply be flushed out, while B6 is water-soluble, meaning the body can excrete unused portions. This only applies up to a point. Long-term high doses can lead to toxicity and adverse effects, particularly in the nervous system. The truth is that vitamins have therapeutic windows, specific ranges in which they are beneficial. Once you go outside of that window, especially into high-dose territory, the effects don't just level off, they can turn harmful. In the case of B6, high levels have been shown to damage peripheral nerves, leading to symptoms like tingling, numbness, and balance issues. These are not harmless side effects. They are signs that the body's neurological systems are being affected in a way that may not be fully reversible. In some patients, nerve damage from chronic B6 overuse has persisted long after supplementation was stopped. Beyond the physical symptoms, the real risk lies in how these disruptions can interact with other stroke-related risk factors. For individuals with high blood pressure, high cholesterol, or a history of cardiovascular disease, throwing off the body's internal chemistry with excessive supplementation can make matters worse. B6 toxicity can raise homocysteine levels, increase oxidative stress, and reduce vascular flexibility, all of which directly contribute to the conditions that make a stroke more likely. When combined with lifestyle factors like poor sleep, dehydration, or inconsistent medication use, this creates a perfect storm. What's concerning is how normalized high-dose supplement use has become. Health influencers, online forums, and even some healthcare practitioners promote mega dosing of vitamins for energy, focus, or stress relief. The supplement industry often markets high concentrations of vitamins as superior without adequate warnings or guidance on how to use them safely. Many people are unaware that they're regularly exceeding safe intake levels, sometimes by several 100%. They see vitamins as natural and harmless, unlike pharmaceuticals, and so they don't feel the need to research or consult a doctor. This leads to a widespread misuse of products that, while seemingly innocent, can have significant physiological consequences. Even multivitamins, which are marketed as convenient insurance policies for your diet, can contribute to excessive intake when combined with other fortified foods or targeted supplements. Without realizing it, a person could be taking 3 or 4 times the recommended amount of B6 every single day. Over time, this builds up in the body and can subtly alter brain chemistry, nerve function, and vascular integrity. It's a slow, quiet progression toward damage that only becomes apparent once the symptoms are serious, or worse, after a health emergency like a stroke. Understanding the proper role of vitamins means recognizing that more does not equal better. The human body was designed to work with precise amounts of nutrients, not excess. Supplements should fill gaps in a balanced diet, not override the body's natural equilibrium. When this principle is ignored, even the most well-intentioned health routine can become a threat.